Good morning. It is 10:30. I am on my way out to my two old fellers that I caregive for, and so I thought I would share a little bit of some story background on myself. This YouTube channel is really meant to help other people by telling my truth, my stories. Nothing is made up. This is all facts that all have happened to me, and that some I could say I was a victim at some point, and then it became where I needed to be out of that victim role because it was not it was not doing anything for me, but keeping me down further. So a lot of time, for probably 25 years of my life, I would say 25 to 30 years of my life, my dad, he took his life when I was 9. And so I believe my whole entire spirit and soul were crushed from that point on until I could come to forgive myself for allowing myself to be in such depression and believing that there was something maybe I could have done, or what didn't I do, or why did he leave us? All these questions like, what's wrong with me? And it hurt for a long time. A long time. But I also chose to stay there, not knowing, but then knowing. But through all of that, I can look back and know that God has had his hand on my life and in my life through all of this. And I'm a survivor, and I'm not a victim. I am victorious over all of my problems because I know who resides in me, and he's already told us what the end result is. There's a whole book called the Bible that really tells us all about it, and it's just we can relate to the stories in there and have them manifest in our life and work out for the good, or we can sulk in our self-pity, and what a sad way to live this life. So anyways, I was just going to talk about some of the little stories that I can now reflect back on and know that God, he turned everything that was meant for evil or harm, he's turned it all for good in my life. Even some of the some friendships, some different work, when I was an employee of a couple places, and so it's pretty amazing what God can really do if you allow him in your life and allow him to work. I forgot. I'm off track now. So anyways, what I just want to say, because of that, my dad taking his life, for a long time of those 20-30 years, I was a lost little girl. I was a lost little girl even as an adult, because I could not grow up. I still was stuck in this 9-year-old mind frame of poor me. And although it was sad, it was a traumatic experience that no child should ever have had to go through. And there was 5 of us that went through it, of all different ages, and then of course our mother, who of the pain. And it definitely had a weight on us. Each one of us, we went through different periods in our lives of kind of, I guess, acting out because of what happened. Gosh, I mean, I did things that were just wrong because when I look back, I know that it was that was the only thing I could control, is what I thought. And so that's what I would do to kind of act out. And, you know, I remember having my first boyfriend. And, I mean, I don't even think that we had sex twice before I was pregnant. Right away, age 16. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, even though I'm still a little girl, I'm 16, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, now I'm gonna have this baby who will always love me, and that's just what I wanted. I needed somebody to love me. I just needed myself to love me, and so I did. My first child, Zachary, who is almost 28, hard to believe. I had him when I was a senior in high school. Walked across the stage, pregnant, and after I graduated, I ended up with a different boyfriend. And this boyfriend introduced me to crack, cocaine, and meth. And from that point on, I would say probably 15 to 20 years, I was addicted to drugs. And I would have different moments, periods in my life to where there was some sobriety time, but I would always switch a drug for a drug. And just by the grace of God, I'm not addicted to any of those today. By the grace of God. But in all of that, there was many stories along the lines of whenever you have, you know, drugs, alcohol, and abuse of men, or just men that aren't good for you, it really takes a toll on your life. And so in all that, you know, I was with that boyfriend that introduced me to the drugs. I was with him, I don't know, maybe 2 years. 2 years of hell. And so in between that time, I remember, you know, his drug of choice was crack, and that was, I smoked it in the very beginning, but I did not like it. I did not want to continue doing it, and I think it's because I see and saw exactly the way that he was when he was doing it, and I just knew that was the devil controlling. So, not to say that any of the other drugs weren't devil controlled, but anyways, I remember, you know, he got me in a car. We went down to 27th and Prospect, and he ended up robbing somebody. He ended up robbing somebody in the car with me, and at 27th and Prospect. And I remember we'd also gone somewhere else to, you know, whatever, to go get him something, and he got my car shot up, some guy came out with a gun and shot right through the side where the pedals were, and then as well as shot through my gas tank. And so, I mean, it's just a wonder that my gas tank, that my car didn't blow up while we were in it. So, probably about 2.5 years later, he died. He died of a crack overdose. And he was pretty abusive. Gosh, if I really think about it, he busted my windows out of my car at least 3 times, and my mom, the car was in her name, and she took him to court. So of course, you know, it was a huge ordeal. But anyways, he unfortunately blew his heart up by smoking crack, and you know, and all I could ever think was, well, just thank God that wasn't me, you know. And so, I mean, from the beginning, I've always known God has had purpose in my life. I've always seen some favor. I always knew that he was definitely working everything out for the good that was meant to harm me. And so that's how that went. And then through all of these times, though, in between here, I mean, I was seriously still depressed. You know, I was on a mad roller coaster, depending on, you know, a lot of the time I didn't have a job. So, you know, where I was getting money was stealing it. Stealing, not robbing. I guess it's kind of the same thing. Anyways, I mean, I went through a lot in my life to try and figure out what was wrong with me. When really there was a lot wrong that ended up being wrong, but there was nothing wrong with me for me to believe that I deserved any of this stuff that was, you know, happening. So, then at another time, I ended up getting, you know, shortly after that, I had a boyfriend that, actually, he was one of the only boyfriends I was with for a long period of time that I did not get pregnant and have a child with. And he ended up getting indicted, or the federal marshals had kicked in his door for getting shipments of ecstasy from Russia. So anyways, he went away to the feds and for a good 2 years. And so, of course, our relationship, you know, dispersed out, and you know, we didn't it ended up, well, actually in the very end, when he did come back, that's when I met Tierra and Miguel's dad, Paco. And again, I got pregnant like that, like the first time. And so I ended that with that boyfriend, and I stayed with Paco for almost 5 years. And through all this time, I had been in trouble with the law, and so I was not living right. And even though I was trying to live right, I had removed myself from a lot of negative people, and then, well, not just negative, but, you know, influencing me to continue to do live a lifestyle that just God had not intended for me to live. And so I do have to say that in all of this, through all of it, though,
1 9 1 3
through all of it,
1,
I always
5,
preached about God.
4,
Even
7,
while I was smoking
1,
on the pipe,
2.
I always preached about God.